managers of this university are focused on excellence. They want to be excellent. Not only in the academics, the environment must be excellent. So everything about the Muslim must be excellent. That's why the Prophet ﷺ said, even in killing, kill it in an excellent manner. Inna ja'alna ma ala al-ardi zinata laha. Continue. Yes, Allah says that everything in the world is a test for all of you. What are we testing? The degree of your excellence. Ayyukum ahasanu. The degree of your excellence. That's what we are testing. So, integration of knowledge is not, we are in trouble, serious trouble. Our religion does not teach us that. No. Those great scholars, they were inspired by the message of the Quran. Al-Ghazali, Ibn Sina, Ibn Khaldun, they were inspired. No? The volumes they wrote, 30, 40 volumes, on a single subject matter. That's excellence. There is that book, the one I'm distributing. Our own now, when we have written something like this, it's a fantastic material. This one is not even appetizer. Maybe it's just the recipe. You understand? The recipe that will lead you. It's not the food. No. It's not the food. Integration of knowledge is call to action. It's a call to action. You are in this school because we want you to now begin to do something. We have been sleeping before. We are satisfied. We take water from this bottle. We are not, how can we produce something better than this? Begin to, as you are consuming the water. Can I do something? Can I collaborate with others to do something? In my specialization, what are the gaps there? The type of textbooks being used in the school system. What are the defects in those textbooks? What can I do about it? The storybooks may be available to our children, the younger ones. What can I do about it? Are they the best? They cannot be the best. And I've been charged to be the best. So it's a call to action. And those people that started it, they didn't just preach it. They didn't just say it. They didn't just write about it. They lived it. They showed examples. In the Lagos school, we felt challenged. That, how can we be preaching something, asking people to do something, and then we cannot produce anything? So, after the first school, we told the participants, look, this integration of knowledge, you have understood it. Now, What are you going to do about it? And the first batch of the graduates, they produced this book. They produced this. Integration of knowledge across disciplines. Lagos Hamatan School Book of Readings. Take it. I'm not giving you. Just view it. You can view it properly. The next batch, they produce volume 2. You can practice. Volume 3 is in the press. The manuscripts are ready. We are editing it. And I promise that we make the soft copy available to you. All these ones, they are soft copies. Any of our publications, there are soft copies. That was why I was able to send that soft copy to you. They are all in soft copies. Now, let me also tell you what we are trying to do in Southwest Nigeria. The curriculum, we know that everything there, at all levels, there is no integration in it. So, where do we start from? From the university? From the nursery school? Then if we are starting from either the nursery or university, which subject area? English, mathematics, science? Where do we start from? We decided to begin from where it is most difficult. The most difficult area is 0 to 5 years, the pre-nursery, preschool. Call it preschool. Preschool curriculum. 0 or from birth to 5 years. When we took the decision, some people were saying, you want to do a curriculum for 1 year old? 1 day, a day old, 2 days, 1 week. What are you going to teach an infant of a day old, 2 days? Are you sure you are, you understand what you are trying to do? You see, they are asking that question because of the level of our backwardness. The curriculum for 0 for 2 years had long been in existence in other parts of the world. But here, no. Even when government in Nigeria produced a curriculum for 0 to 5 years, those in early childhood in the university, majority of them are yet to see the curriculum. They don't know the color of the cover. The professors in the university and their students. And they teach early childhood education year in, year out. The products have never set eye on the curriculum for 0 to 5 years. Number 2, that curriculum, when you see it, like other materials, there is nothing about God, nothing about religion, nothing about morality in it. And then number 3 or 4 about that curriculum is that when you compare it with curriculum from elsewhere, you discover that we are far behind. Many things are missing. So, we've embarked on that project since about 3 years now. Many people are anxious. This curriculum that you are working on, when is it going to come out? You see, you have to be ready to sacrifice, to go through pains. Because I have not seen, since I was involved in this research anywhere in the world, maybe it exists, where you have a curriculum for that level that is Islamic. What it means is that you are starting from the scratch. And for people to be able to understand the content of that curriculum, we've decided that there is need for a resource book that will accompany it. So we are working on 2 documents at the same time: the curriculum and the resource book. We are going to see it, inshallah, when it is ready. It has gone more than 70% now, as I speak with you. What does that mean? It means that we are not just preaching integration of knowledge. We want to practicalize it. There are different approaches to integration of knowledge. Maybe we can limit ourselves to just 2. The first approach is the theoretical approach, which we have been doing since morning. You talk about it, what it is all about, the aims, the objectives. Even you can discuss the process of integration. All those are theoretical. They are theoretical presentations of integration of knowledge. The practical dimension is to now take a decision to produce integrated knowledge, the finished products. That curriculum, when it comes out, it is finished product. Let me show you example of a finished product. This one is finished. It's finished product. It's a storybook. You want to pass it around. But I also want, the next question I want to ask you now is how many of us are ready to advance from the theoretical to the practical, as this one is going round? How many of us are ready to, you are ready? Inshallah, wait, Alaji Mufassir. I will give all of you the soft copy of this material. I will liaise with the Imam. Imam is better than me when it comes to ICT solution. The soft copy is heavy because everything is illustrated. It's heavy. But I will discuss with him how we are going to. The book is originally in Arabic. Abu Sulaiman, Professor Abdulhamid Ahmad Abu Sulaiman, wrote this book in Arabic. When we saw it, we said, no, the English-speaking audience should have access to it. This book presents Tawheed. It presents Tawheed to a young child by means of storytelling. You know, children, they love stories. And then it can be very difficult to teach Tawheed to a young girl or boy of 3, 4, 5 years. So the man now said, okay, let me use storytelling. So he told a story and integrated Tawheed into it. You know, so the professional. So you can pass it around. So some people have spoken on your behalf that there is a consensus that you are ready to move from theoretical to... Ustaz, I hope you are listening to them. So it's a finished product. And instead of talking about it, you can act. Not just, you can go beyond talking and do something that is practical. How many points do we have? Our secretary, rapporteur. Okay, let us give us a recap. And then I will allow you to ask questions before we move to another session. Yes, let's have a recap.
Okay. The first one is, okay. In integration of knowledge, the first point Prof indicated is God has to be reflected in all facets of our life. That is reflection on Tawheed. God. Okay. Integration of knowledge is all about reflecting God in all facets of our lives. Secondly, integration of knowledge is an attempt to inject in the current educational system a missing component, that is the spirituality. Thirdly, integration of knowledge does not leave out any component of the current educational system and specialization. It's applicable. The integration of knowledge is called so because of the Islamophobia that comes along with the Islamization of knowledge. Then integration of knowledge is about excellence and not being inferior or being average in all our endeavors, being spiritual, moral, educational, or political. Then the last one I have in my notes, integration of knowledge is a call to action.
Naam, assalamu alaikum. So earlier, I wanted to make a comment on what we know about integration of knowledge, and that is not to learn any discipline in isolation. So I'll give an example of when we look at zakat in Islam, then let's say in project management, we have monitoring, evaluation, accountability, and learning. So if we are going to integrate zakat specifically with, or let me say business or projects, managing a project that requires managing your finance or something, zakat is an aspect of Islam, aside purifying yourself and your wealth, also makes you accountable. Because since you know every year you would have to pay 2.5% of your wealth to, or take an amount 2.5% of your wealth to a particular needy person or whoever is under that category, you would be conscious of how you spend or expend money in your business and so on and so forth. So it makes you accountable. And at the end of the day, you monitor the affairs in your business, inshallah.
Prof, my own is a question. With regards to integration of knowledge, in the sense that the one who doesn't have knowledge about the religion, but his focus or what he has been taught is maybe biology, but he doesn't know anything about Islam, for him to integrate biology with Islam, how can he teach and then even integrate Islam in biology if he doesn't have that Islamic background? Thank you.
You want to you want to write an integrated textbook in biology. Integrated biology. That's what you are interested in. Now, if you start on your own, researching on the internet, you'll be surprised the amount of information you will get. Locally and abroad. You'll be surprised. There is a lot on the internet. You may need to spend some money because some of these materials, you have to purchase them on the internet. So, primarily, you don't have to be a scholar of Islam to be able to conduct or do anything on integration. I assure you. So, you can consult the scholars to confirm certain information. But for you to defeat yourself by saying, oh, because I've not attended an Arabic school and I'm not well versed in the Quran and Hadith, therefore I rule myself out. No. You shouldn't do that. You shouldn't do that.
Thank you very much. I have two quick observations.
Go on.
The first one is directly connected to what my brother just asked. If I look at maybe the future of integration, yes, on a very big scale, to be the panacea for our transformation agenda towards a very unique ummah, or going back to our past glories. We want to integrate, but we are a minority or a subset within a larger community, and we are not in the driving force of shaping the curriculum of education. So if you work with, for instance, Ghana Education Service, you have gone through a type of training minus integration. Then you come to the field to teach. We are, I am stroke 9.
Go to the next part of that. I understood that one.
Yes. Okay. So the second one has to do with institutions of higher learning, where we have faculties that are designated for Muslims or for everybody to benefit. For instance, faculty or Department of Study of Religion, for instance. Then in that particular department, will it help if you, the main focus of 50% of your reading materials are written by Orientalists? Will this help in our attempt to integrate knowledge?
The first question is a question that has been answered.
Okay.
I will show you. We don't know who manufactured this water, whether it's a Muslim or a non-Muslim. But we are using it because it's good. Isn't it? If you come up with a curriculum that is good, it will be embraced by everybody. That's point one. And I use curriculum to represent other instructional materials. For instance, textbook. If a parent knows that, oh, this textbook of economics, if I buy it for my child, distinction is guaranteed. He won't bother about the content. He's interested in distinction. However, integrated curriculum in a country where private schooling is legal, it means that the finished product, if it cannot be used by the entire country, at least those Muslim schools will make use of them. The way you do it is that you are not removing anything out of it because you don't have the local standard to do that. You are adding, you are enriching that curriculum with Islamic spirituality. And nobody is going to query you for doing that. You have not removed, if there are 100 topics there, the 100 topics are intact. You are not removing anything from it. You are only enriching those topics. So there is nothing wrong about what you have done. Are you following? Now, the other part of your question, which is related to the works of the Orientalists. The moment you are conscious of the fact that this material before me may not be the whole truth, you have achieved 50% of your objective. Because you are reading or making use of that material in a cautious way. A material that tells you about the history of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and begins to say certain uncomplimentary things about him. You already know the background of the author, and you know his aim. So you know the best way of making use of that material. Now, beyond that, it was in the past that those Orientalists are dominant. Not now again. No. Not now again. We have many translated works from Arabic into English and various languages. So the honor is on you to go for those ones. They may not be readily available, like those Orientalist materials. So, yes, go on internet. That material you are looking for, that subject matter, that theme, after typing it, put free in front. You understand? Put free, because if you don't put free, you may get results that you have to pay and it's going to discourage you. But from what my sister mentioned earlier, the use of zakah, waqf, and so on, has made these books accessible, free of charge. Free of charge. Even some of these materials is on the internet, the one I'm sharing.
Yes. Sorry. Journal of Halal Research. I realize that most journals will want you to pay before you can publish on their site, but with this site, it's free for publication. You can publish your work for free.
There are many free materials. Then there are many materials that you can borrow on the internet. You understand? If you want to buy, you can buy, but you can also borrow. They give you a period for you to use the material. When you exhaust that period, you renew. You can borrow 1,000,000 times. You understand? So with that, I don't think it's a problem. In the next session, we shall continue with this interaction. May Allah increase our knowledge and bless what we have understood. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. MashaAllah. A round of applause for Prof. You can do better, please. MashaAllah. That was a very insightful one, a very interactive one. Jazakallah khaira. Okay, so ideally we are supposed to go for our tea break, but information reaching me is that it is not ready yet. So we are going to have a 5-minute break, do some stretches, inshallah. So we'll be re-energized for the next session, inshallah. So we get back at 11:07.
Please wait, come back. Mr. Morrison, please come back. Assalamu alaikum. Yes, I have the statistics for yesterday's evaluation form. We have 22 males, yet 17 have failed. We have 17 females, and only 10 have failed. Please, let's take our phones and fill the evaluation form. My brother, please sit down. Let's finish this before we go. Please, let's fill the evaluation form. I'm begging you.
Mr. Majid.
Yes.
Mr. Majid, please,
Yes, please.
there is a correction that I want to make here.
Okay.
Today's program is controlled by us, not the LOC. So if you have something to say, just ask permission, then we give you grant.
I'm sorry.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah.
So please, inshallah, 11:07, we should be seated here, inshallah.
What? Get the laugh here. Manaf. Get the laugh here. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I'm going to laugh here. That would you break away. It's a back record. Okay. So can you hear me? Big of format. So if they are on break and they are here having a discussion too, is there? Okay, so Assalamu alaikum. Today we are supposed to observe our 30 minutes break. Yes, so we will go back again for the break. Yes, and then after the 30 minutes, we will come back for the last lecture, and then any other announcement will follow from there. Thank you very much. 11:30.
Assalamu alaikum. Talk. Oh, it's part of the program.
Salaam alaikum. Salamun alaikum. Salamun alaikum. Okay. Salaam alaikum.
Equal. Yo.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. MashaAllah, I hope we are refreshed and re-energized now and ready for the next session. Inshallah, before Prof gets back, we want to have a bit of our regular informal session, inshallah. So yesterday, we were, okay, Jamal.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam.
I want us to look at the question that Morrison asked about the level of Islamic knowledge you need to have before you can do the integration. So I'm looking at the future whereby most of the youth don't have enough knowledge of the Islamic education, but the little that they have, they were able to do the integration just against the knowledge that they have, which is, let's say, beginners. They are beginners. But the little that they have been able to do the integration with the professorship they have in that aspect. So what kind of breed are we going to have? I don't know if my question is clear.
Okay, so you mean, looking at the current situation of, let me say, inadequate Islamic scholarship, what kind of a future are we going to have when it comes with integration of knowledge? Because no doubt, having an amount of it would let us move forward as an ummah. Okay, so do we have any insights? Inshallah. Bosco, do you want to say something?
Now, I would say making a change, it usually starts with knowledge, as we all know. And just as the lessons we had the day before yesterday, we don't need to memorize all the kutub al-sitta. We don't need to memorize all the Quran and the books of tafsir al-majami' to be able to actually implement a change in our society or in the various Muslim communities we come from. So it's just about having the change of mind, understanding the gaps that has been left in the society that we are having in the current education system, and knowing the right way of integrating the Islamic concept in them, trying to make a move to make that change. So it's not about you going to Jamia, becoming a kharij of a Jamia before we can actually make a change. It starts from looking at your own discipline, looking at the gaps that is left out from the Islamic perspective, and finding the right way of making a change from that. I think if it is looked from that perspective, we'll actually make a lot of changes than waiting to become big shuyukh before we try to make a change.
Any buttressing or counter comments?
Please, you can. With regards to what my colleague said, I think Professor Aisha said something when she was lecturing us that day that we are all guilty. And when you look at what she said, I think in some other way she's right. Because here is the case, we are living in a community. Someone is trying to bring change, and he is not having a support. Because of he is not having a support, he decided to quit from where he started. Maybe you started with 2 or 3 people, and you got up to 10 people. Then because of you are not having a support from your community elders also, so you decided to quit. I think when we do it, when we look at it this way, it might lead us to maybe astray or something like that. So if we are here and we are making our minds that because of our community leaders are not helping us, please, let's not lose hope. We should try as much as possible. When we go back, we should start from where we stopped. Because there is a saying in the Arabic, listen, that al-aqil idha akhta'a yata'assaf. When the sensible person or intelligent person makes a mistake, he feels sorry, he goes back to his drawing board, correct his mistake, and then he come back again and start from where he stopped. And then wal ahmak idha akhta'a yatafalsaf. And when the fool, excuse me for using this word, or the senseless makes a mistake, he tries to find someone to put the blame on him. Meanwhile, that person is not the one who pushed him to that mistake. So I think we should go back to our old system to start from where we stop so that we can rather bring changes into our communities. That's what I have to say.
MashaAllah, Jazakallah khairan for your contribution. Mama Abbas, please.
Thank you very much. Yes, we are encouraged, even with the little knowledge we have, we should make impact. But we should also make commitment that before we impact something, we have perfected that even if the knowledge is limited, please perfect it so that you don't accurately mislead people. Instead of, transforming people, then you lead them to the ditch. So not the quantity, but even the limited one you have, please perfect it. And know that this religion is a religion of knowledge. And you should even know where to acquire the knowledge to is part of the deen. So I'm encouraging all of us to build upon what we have learned here and then start the integration from home. Start from the integration from home. I have only one daughter. When she finished junior high school, I have somebody from the office of the vice president who can put her on protocol any school. So before I even say Jack, he put her in Achimota. So when I told her, she told me, she asked the mother to tell me that she won't go to Achimota because for the first time, she had attended primary, junior high school, all in an Islamic school where they veil. She said she won't go. So finally, she made a choice of a school of her own, and then we sent her there. So meaning that the orientation the mother gave her was stuck in the back of their mind. So if you do integration outside your home, but you leave the home, I think that you will do yourself a lot of harm. Thank you very much.
Allah. So let's start with the integration from our home and also know your threshold of knowledge. Don't give fatwa or don't advise or counsel people out of what you know. Malam Mashood.
Assalamu alaikum. I think with regard to what Imam Abbas said and something I came across in the document shared. The document shared with some place regarding to implementation of strategies. I think that is what we are lacking most. It isn't that we don't have the requisite knowledge and how to put things. We have a lot, but in how we put things is our problem. So the strategy, and then this one, I learned they are telling us that it's not about changing everything you are doing to Islamic perspectives, but trying to drive Islamic or God consciousness out of whatever you are doing. I think to put into the people. When you are singing, what can you tell the people about God through your singing? If you are a bicycle mechanic, what can you try to get something related to God in what you are doing to put it to the people? It is not about changing It's not about changing physics or chemistry or biological, everything you are doing to Islamic, that is not going to be easy. But we should try to show everything about Islam in whatever we are doing.
Inshallah, that is the reflection of the God factor and using the Tawhidic paradigm wherever we find ourselves, any discipline we find ourselves. So, Prof is here, alhamdulillah. We continue our informal session later. So, inshallah, we begin the next session. Jazakumullahu khaira.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. Now, for this session, we are going to answer the question, how do I integrate? The other time, we will ask the question, what is integration of knowledge? Now, how do I go about the job of integration? How do I do it? And you know, it depends on what you intend to work on. For instance, many of you told me during the last session that you are ready. I would like to know what you are ready for. Is it that you want to write textbook? You want to write an article and publish it in an academic journal? You want to write a storybook? You want to implement integration of knowledge in your life activities? Now, application of any theoretical knowledge is universal. It's something that cuts across every aspect of human life. And I've come across a number of books that the title may appear to be rare because the subject ordinarily does not appear to have a practical dimension. Unlike in the sciences, where you have the theory and the practical. It's more of a tradition in the sciences. So, I've seen, for instance, history, theory, and practice. The title of a book, and I'm sure it's on the internet. The title is History, Theory, and Practice. The theory is understandable, but the practice, one would like to know, how do you put history into practice? I've seen similar title in philosophy, the practice of philosophy, and so on. And when we talk about practice in integration of knowledge, it's not something that is alien to us as Muslims, because we know that the fundamentals of Islam, there are some that you learn it, you accept it, and it becomes part of you. There are others that are basically practical, like the Salat, for instance. When somebody observes Salat, you can see him doing it. It's action. And the Prophet said, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, pray as you see me pray. So he used, practical dimension to teach Salat. And I've come to realize that Salat is something that no matter how comprehensive or detailed your explanation of Salat is not going to be as effective as watching somebody do it or doing it practically. The same thing, Quranic recitation. There is no amount of knowledge of tajweed that will make you read the Quran the way it was revealed. Even if you are able to master all the rules of Quranic recitation. Therefore, the question is, since you said you have made up your mind to go into integration, what aspects are you interested in, and how do you intend to do it? That's the question we intend to tackle. This integration that you said, all of you are ready to go into it. What and how? What aspects are you interested in, and how do you intend to go about it? Alaji.
Thank you very much. For me, my aspects, as at now, I will say very soon, I'll be a teacher by a profession. I'm here to do my national service, so my perspective will come from as a teacher. As a teacher, how can I integrate Islam into my profession? It's very simple, in a sense that I have to exhibit positive attitude towards work. In a sense that the time of going to school, my dressing, the way I talk to my students, the way I behave, interact with them, the kind of language I will use and how I will use the language on them is very, very important. When it comes to the courses or the subject I will teach, for instance, as you made mention of history, how can you practically practice history? It is very, very important and very, very simple. In the life of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, as the one who was able to help us to attain independence. So what lesson will I learn from Kwame Nkrumah as a Ghanaian or as a student? It's very simple to be a very, very patriotic human being. So that as a student, if you have love for your school, you always learn hard, and you want to also exhibit positive attitude towards work and help your country, it will be very simple.
Okay. Teaching. There are two aspects. The first aspect is the method of teaching. Because most of the time you are going to be in the classroom. And your employers expect you to be very effective as a teacher. And the question you will ask yourself, are there certain facts, certain useful strategies that can be extracted from the Quran and Sunnah that will make teaching very, very effective? There are. And I'm going to make available to you one or two of my publications on Quranic pedagogy. That is pedagogy as extracted from the Quran and from the Sunnah, which you can deploy in the teaching learning encounters. And part of the principles of Quranic pedagogy you'll be surprised that niyyah, your intention of going into that profession, is very, very crucial. Why are you a teacher? Why have you chosen teaching? Is it because there's no other job? This is the only one available. If I don't take it, I may end up not having anything. Or you look at teaching as an opportunity for ibadah. If you look at teaching as an opportunity for ibadah, you are likely to do so many things right. Because as a teacher in the classroom, you are in the state of ibadah, you are in a state of worship. That thing that you are doing must be good enough to present to Allah. You are not only doing it so that your employers, the principal and the school managers will say, yes, you have done well. You also want Allah to say, oh, as a teacher, you have done well. That is why the intention is crucial, and then taking it as a form of ibadah is another. Before we now go into the pedagogical strategies, you could see that when we started, I said, well, we may not use the slides. It may not be a presentation. That is from the Quran. That approach is Quranic approach. Establishing the entry knowledge. Who is the student? Who is the learner? And the learner dictates the approach of teaching. If we have used presentation, slides, for 2, 3, 4 years, we need to ask ourselves, what has it produced? Is there a better approach? Look at what the Quran did to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. What Allah did in revealing the Quran. Allah had so many things to talk about, over 6,000 verses. He started with a dialogue. Iqra, 5 verses out of over 6,000. We are coming to it, oh. We are coming to it. But what we need there now is that Allah expected the prophet, being an illiterate person, to memorize. Why did he not start with Surah Al-Baqarah? The longest chapter, or the longest verse in the Quran. The number of verses are very small. The length of the verses are also small. So that it makes the memorization easy. It's a Quranic strategy of teaching. And Allah says, وَلَقَدْ يَسَّرْنَا الْقُرْآنَ لِلذِّكْرِ فَهَلْ مِن. We have made this Quran easy. Easy to read. Easy to memorize. Easy to understand. Easy to use. So if you are also involved in the job of making or transferring knowledge or skills, you try to make it as easy as possible, as simple as possible, no matter the complexity. These are principles of Quranic pedagogy. When you do that, you are integrating. Because the pedagogy from the secular point of view will not talk about God, will not talk about intention, will not talk about ibadah, and so on. So, that is the addition which I make to your contribution. So, another one, how do I integrate? What's your interest, and how do you go about it. I would have loved to give somebody who is here to talk, because I want as many participants as possible to talk. Please, let's allow her. So what we are doing now is cooperative learning. We are learning from each other. Yes?
What I would like to do in contribution is, I'm a teacher, and I love reading. I love books. And Islam, the first ayah that was revealed is Iqra, read. So I'm interested, and I've even started. So
you are interested in teaching?
Yes,
you need to speak out. Reading. Express yourself properly so that we can hear. We are your students. We need to hear.
Okay, so I said I'm a teacher, and one of my best hobbies is reading. And so in my field, I've realized that from observations that one of the poorest skills that students have is reading. And that's the basis of any excellence if you want to excel in any field, as long as knowledge is concerned. And so I came up with the PaySetters Network, where I organize extra classes, remedial classes for my students. And I also have this mentorship program that I do to help students in learning public speaking skills, as well as mentorship sessions. So we don't only do it to encourage them with regards to their academic work, but then we also teach them the importance of their role in Islam.
How does integration come in?
So integration comes in when my students understand that whatever knowledge that I'm learning right now, I'm not just learning it for the certificate that will come. I'm not learning knowledge to get a job in future. I'm learning it to make myself better and to contribute my quota to the development of my community or society.
How do you achieve that objective?
I achieve it through the extra classes that I organize for my students. If my students, example, in class, they have reading difficulties. So if my students are able to read better, then their learning will become better for them. So if they achieve and acquire reading skills, then it will automatically help them in their, whether it's madrasa or school. And so if they become academically or brilliant, then it will help them as they climb up. So if you are able to read, readers are those who become leaders. So when you're able to start reading, it helps you to start thinking. So for me, I feel that reading skill is the most important that students should get.
Yes, thank you very much. That's very good. Now, I think you can put in, you can inject, you can integrate into what you are doing more doses of Islam. And maybe I'm tempted to go into an aspect of this presentation now. Yes. There is a file, if it is there, integration in the Quran. Is it readily available? I sent it. Yes. It's not slide, it's just Word. It's a Word document. It's a Word document. Yes, part of the files. Now, because what your submission has brought to the table is an aspect of integration that we discussed, that is excellence. That's what it has brought. Yes, that is good, fantastic. How do we reflect Islamic values in those reading exercises in a way that it doesn't cause distraction, in a way that if the person is not a Muslim, he doesn't find what you are doing repugnant? Are we here to learn about Quran or Islam? No. That is what is coming up. Yes, excellence. Fine. What other Islamic values can go into what you are doing? The question is not only for her, it's for all of us. She's teaching reading skills. And she has explained to us how she can do it in a way that she will be able to produce excellent readers. Yes, she has achieved her objective. But in the process, can the message of Islam be presented to those students? How? Alaji.
Assalamu alaikum. Since she's targeting producing leaders, the morality will play a role so that we'll get upright leadership. We are in an era where our leaders are not our servants, but they are leading through their pockets. Corruption all over. So if Islamic or Tawhid can't be factored in.
How do you teach morality in that context? Through the reading training. Yes?
You might write an article or something like maybe an article, maybe by a government have done something which you want to criticize. You can criticize, but not to insult the government or one way or the other. Because some people nowadays, the person through the social media will be writing some certain things to just insult. So one of the moral lessons the person can learn from it is not to write or maybe insult an elderly person, but you can just bring the person on board through good moral talk. So morally, you can just write by not insulting or bring somebody to do the right thing. That's the best.
We are here to hit the nail on the head.
My contribution is that she has identified reading to be a challenge for the students.
Good.
And now trying to make a change, definitely they will find it difficult to adapt and start being able to read. To the extent that you find some of the students will even try to lose hope, not to cope again. So this is when motivation comes in, to motivate the students and let them have that hope that they can make it and they can do it. And give them the verses of the Quran. Allah says, وَأَلَّيْسَ لِلْإِنسَانِ إِلَّا مَا
You are going
سَعَى.
to give verses of the Quran. Go on now.
Yes, so you give them a verse of the Quran. وَأَلَّيْسَ لِلْإِنسَانِ إِلَّا مَا سَعَى. So the child may not even have understanding of it, but he will pick up something from what you said and relate it to the Quran. And give him a story.
If the person is a Christian,
yes,
and you begin to quote verses of the Quran for that students, will he not call you Osama?
Good.
Verses of the Quran. Yes.
Okay, salaam alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
To me, I think she's trying to teach reading.
Good.
Okay, so if there are issues at hand that children are familiar with among the society, she should try to put them down into readings, present it to the learners for them to read. As they read, they try to find some of the mistakes the people have been doing in the course of reading. So you analyze everything. It's going to be in a form of interaction. Then you ask them, so what do you think about this? Are our leaders being fair? They are human. Definitely you'll be able to know whether it's right or wrong. Then you guide them using your own Islamic principles, but you don't make it known to them. Then you bring it out for them to deliberate on issues that are good morals and those that are bad. Then you try to let them inculcate good ones into their lives. I think that would be the best way to teach them reading with regards to morals pertaining Islamic religion too.
Yes.
Thank you.
You are now hitting the nail on its head. But the intensity of the hitting may not make the nail to go in. But you are hitting, and the aspect that is interesting to me in your contribution is that you are saying that the passage will be carefully selected or packaged in a way that that passage has a message on its own. Yes, basically, it is meant to teach reading skills. But it's a passage, it's a piece of information. That information has its own message. It can be a story, it can be a description of something, but it has a message to the reader. And even if the teacher does not call the attention of the students to that message may be delivered, as a result of constant reading. Some of those passages we read in the primary school, because the passage is so interesting, you are still remembering, the content and those things that the passage is didactic. That's the word. The passage is didactic. Didactic. It means that it is meant to teach certain things. So it's not just ordinary passage. And in your planning, you are yes, apart from the objective of teaching reading skills, you have a second objective of passing some messages to the pupils. And now, the other aspect of injecting Quranic verses that one will be handled when the person in charge of the slide is around. I want you to see some things. But meanwhile, let us hear some other contributions. And if the slide doesn't work, I will use the slide in my head to... Yes?
Assalamu alaikum.
What do you intend to?
What I want to say is in line with the reading skills. I came across one storybook, though it's an Islamic book, which narrates stories, and at the end of it, they bring a hadith to explain the moral behind the story. So, for example, if you are teaching children how to read, you could select some of these stories to present to them to read. Basically, those stories has nothing to do with regards to Islam. For example, birds are flying together, and they are flying together, and later there's a disagreement, and then they all separate their ways and lose focus. And that's one of the stories in the book. Then at the end of the day, they brought a hadith that tells us that we have to be together. For a lamb that abandons its head will be eaten by the wolf. So if you narrate stories like this to them, you can bring the moral lesson, not necessarily bringing the Arabic version of the hadith or saying that is the sayings of the Prophet, but giving them the lesson that at the end of the story, we learn that human beings or families or friends have to be together. And if you would like to separate yourself from others, these are some of the dangers that can come your way.
Very good. Depending on the composition of the audience. For instance, in a Muslim school, a privately owned institution, you can do so many things. So many things are possible. In your English language class, so many things. You can bring in Quranic verses, possibly. But you must be cautious. Because at the end of the day, those students are going to write exam, what is called terminal exam, that will not be set by you. Some other people from somewhere will set the questions. And in setting the questions, they will use the curriculum. What the official curriculum has specified, that will, what will be the reference material they will follow. The question is, if you have loaded that text and what you have taught them with so many verses of the Quran, Islamic values, and so on and so forth, and the examiner asks certain questions requiring specific answer, not generalized answer, how will you make sure that your students will not be confused when they are asking a secular question? He is responding with a spiritual answer. And will it be marked right or wrong for that student? How we are following?
Yes, please, what I have to say is that I think our sister said she's teaching the children all right in a class, but she has another session which is different from the normal class session. That is the remedial class, right? Where she used to teach the children how to read. So in doing that with the students, your goal there is to improve their reading skills, which will consequently help them during the normal sessions to be able to read their normal textbooks. I don't know whether if this is clear. Though they will be doing their normal curricular activities in the class, but when they have their extra classes sessions, that's where you bring this idea of bringing different stories and bringing Islamic values there to improve their reading skills, which will directly affect or improve their reading skills in the school, where they can read other normal curricular activities that will help them in their exams. So I think this will not necessarily affect their academic studies.
Yes, if it is properly handled. And it is because we are talking about English. You know, English is language. Now, if we extend this to other subjects, will it work?
It may work. It may work.
Social studies, how?
I would take mathematics, not social studies, please.
Yes, mathematics.
Yes, for example, in the extra classes session, you are engaging the students to, let's say, you are teaching them mathematics, how to make additions and subtraction. Then, for example, you tell them that Salatul Zuhr has 4 rakats. Maghrib has 3 rakats. So in this context, if you add the rakats of Zuhr and Maghrib, how many rakats will you get? This will be 7. So deep down, you are teaching them that Maghrib has 3 rakats, Zuhr has 4 rakats. That is addition. You get 7. And this will also help them in the normal class to know their mathematics calculations.
That one is perfectly okay. No problem at all. No problem. You know, you are not telling them it is obligatory on you to observe Salat. You are not saying that. But it takes their mind back to Salat. It's a way of reminding them that there is Salat. You understand? You leave the rest to their conscience. You are only featuring Salat, which is fantastic. That is good. Now, let me listen to more approaches of integration and the type of... Oh, sorry. Almost forgetting you.
Alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Okay, so as I was thinking of this when I came here and before we did the research class. So I was thinking of, I have a communication background, public relations to be precise. the concept of not slander and libel, and also verifying your facts in journalism or communication so that you don't mislead your audience. And another concept of sensationalization. Then, doing this in isolation, we think this is a knowledge coming from the conventional education or in journalism or public relations alone. But going deeper into Islamic knowledge, we would see that we have those concepts of not saying things Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said, not attributing things to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which is a great sin. So with the invention of the new media and how people are so much into the new media, people hardly watch TVs. So that is a powerful tool that makes us just spread anything we see, sensationalism. So what I intend to do is to use my page, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and whatnot, WhatsApp, to be writing articles and bringing stories from the Quran, Hadith, on, for instance, when the story of Prophet Sulaiman and the Hoopoe, when he came back late and he told him, he said if he comes back, he is going to punish him. But when he came back, he asked him why he kept long, and he had an explanation from him. So if he hadn't heard from his side and verified from him, then he would have done something out of his own whims. So this is this is just an example of what I intend to do.
Now, my question is, who and who is your audience?
Okay, so for this one, my audience is both Christians and Muslims, because the concept of verification and the concept of spreading information is a canker that is being done by all. So this is especially for the youth.
Okay. I will want to suggest a strategy that will not make you look at, but will not make you look like somebody that is not worthy of being listened to or being read. In communication, there are situations that when you see certain signs, it puts you off. Maybe it's the title. No, this title, no, it's not for me. And sometimes it is when you begin to read that you discover that, no, maybe this is not for me. And sometimes some readers will read the whole thing, and at the end of the day, we say, no. This is not balanced. It's not balanced. It's purely for Muslims. Therefore, the strategy may be, because if you are writing for a Muslim audience, no problem. They will enjoy you. They will pray for you. Now, but if it's a combined audience, what it means, what you can do, one of those things you can do, is that, yes, your content may be heavily Islamic, but at the same time, you acknowledge certain facts that may come from non-Muslim sources, but are very useful. Non-Muslim sources that are very useful. And when you do that, that is also Islamic. It's Islamic. And we have said that earlier. Is it that you reject everything? No. If something is beneficial coming from non-Muslims, you accept it. So in your writing, you can source information from non-Muslim sources or non-Islamic sources. The type of information that does not contradict Islamic injunction. And the reader sees a balance that, oh, this person, her intention is not just to preach Islam to me. But I can see some good things about Islam. So this Islam that is so hated, so it means there are certain good things about Islam there. You get the strategy. That is integration. You are bringing in aspects of secular knowledge that is beneficial, and then you integrate it with the Islam, which is your own original intention. Yes, more hands. Yes.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaji is interjecting, yes?
No, not interjecting. Then I will wait for her to finish.
But it's related to...
Yes, public relations.
Okay, let's give you 2 minutes.
No, just some few seconds.
Okay, yes, say it.
You are an expert, and you've been hired by an institution as a public relation officer. So, how do you integrate in this context as an officer who is hired to, public relations?
Yes, I know your work.
Yes.
Okay, it's understood. Yes, you can use the Prophet's approach, especially in Makkah. The role he played in Makkah is the role of somebody that is loved by everybody. Everybody loved him until that time that the issue of Islam came up. Before he became 40 years, he was the toast of the Makkans. Everybody loved him. So you use that approach that they were so impressed about him that they gave him a title. What's the title? What? Al-Amin. The one that can be trusted. The one that is reliable. So that is what should be seen about you as a public relations officer, a Muslim, dealing with the public. You want to showcase Islamic values through your professionalism, through the way you handle matters, through your receptivity. You are receiving everybody, and they are ready to interact with you. They want to rely on the information you provide for them. And if somebody tries to remove you from that position, the whole world will turn upside down and say, no, leave him. Because they are enjoying you. That is integration. You are bringing into play how Islam has prepared you for that job. That's integration. And somebody will approach you one day and say, Mr. So. I don't even know that you are a Muslim. You get it? Because they don't expect a Muslim to behave that way, to handle matters in a professional way that way. I don't even know you are a Muslim. And some others will come and say, the way you is so impressive that where did you train? How are you prepared for this? Now you can open up said, well, we thank God. Some of those things we pick in the mosque, in the Quran. That's what the Quran has taught us. That's all. That's all. A Christian professor approached a Muslim, an imam in the university, that he wanted to learn how he prays, supplication, public, when they have an event, they say opening prayer by so. So he was so impressed. Yes, with the way the imam, so he now approached the imam that I so like the way your presentation, your prayer. I want to come and learn. How did you come about that approach? So, human beings are programmed by Allah to recognize excellence. Anywhere excellence is found. They are not discriminatory when it comes to recognizing excellence. That's the way they are programmed. They may not be ready to accept your religion or whatever, but when they see excellence, they are ready for it. Human beings like anything that is good, beneficial. So, if you present yourself or what you are doing that way, they will forget the fact that you are a Muslim. They will first accept that product. And some of them who are sincere, through that may even ask, so Islam has taught you, it means Islam is beautiful. So we are back to.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
As a fashion designer, Christians bring their clothes to you, Muslims also do same. So you can integrate Islam. Then when maybe a Muslim bring the clothes and then the sister is trying to tell you that, the clothes, sew it to be short or something like that, you can advise the person that, in Islam, you have to cover your aura from head to toe. With regards to Muslim, if the person is a Muslim, but what of if the person is a Christian and the person is telling you that, I want you to sew the dress for it to be short, will you move forward to do it for her or you will stop? That's my question. I've done the contribution, and then for the Muslim sister, who you are telling that the person should, you want to sew it for it to be tall for the person will still insist that no. So what will you do with regards to that?
Anybody has a contribution? Yes. Try.
When either a Christian or a Muslim come, you just tell them that you have a nice style that you want to sew to them. You not tell them to give you the style. So that you sew it in a way that when they wear, they will feel beautiful and they will look beautiful and they will like the way you sew it.
This person, when this person comes to you, she tells you, please, this is the style I want. I know you don't like it. It's against what you believe in. But what I want is what we expose my body properly. So make sure when I wear it, my body will be well exposed. That's what I want from you.
Then
what will be your reaction?
Then maybe you tell the person that she will look more beautiful in a dress that will cover.
No, don't preach to me. Don't preach to me.
But it's not preaching.
Yes, you are not preaching. What I want from you, any amount you are charging, charge it. I know the way you dress, you people that cover everything. But my own case, I want it to be, yes. So make sure do it properly like that for me. What will be your? He has an answer.
All right. So, for me, I feel it's all about branding. So if you brand yourself in a way that these are the kind of clothing I sew, I don't think someone who doesn't want that style will come to you. I mean, that's what I think.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
I want to ask the sister a question.
Yes.
Yes, that might answer the question that she asked. So, sister, you don't take alcohol, right? So, if I come and convince you to any extent to sell alcohol or cigarettes, though you don't consume that, what will be your position on that? Exactly. So that answered the question.
Now, my contribution to that technical question. There is no straightforward answer. It depends on many things. The brother gave a possibility. If you have decided that you are not going to do any haram design, and Allah has blessed you, nothing is pushing you to do it, not material consideration and so on, you can politely, that, oh, we are sorry, I would have loved to make this for you. I like you, I like the way you have addressed me, and I know I can really do something very nice for you. If you have decided to do designs like this, I will do it for, but I'm sorry, I won't be able to, do this. Why now? No, well, it's against, Muslims, we don't believe that women should appear in a particular way. And what is not good enough for me is not good enough for you. So, very politely. That is, if you not doing it will not bring any harm to you. If your life depends on that thing, you have to do it too. Because if you lose your life as a result of that, Allah will not forgive you. There are provisions for that. Extraneous circumstances. If you must do it, then you have to do it. Allah himself suspended a set of rules. So you can suspend it. But if you can, don't go into it. You try to, not to humiliate that person. No. Say, oh no, I would have loved to do it for you. I would like to have you as my customer. But I'm constrained now. So she may have a change of mind. Oh, yes, I like your finishing. I like the way you, okay, even if you not sow this for me, okay, I'll give you this. That's the way to go about it. You want to bring integration and how you intend to go about it? Or you still want to?
I need a clarification.
Yes, what's the clarification?
Like you rightly explained, it's very clear. But now, the reality on the ground now is, if you're a Muslim fashion designer and you want to toe this tangent of designing everything to meet the standard of Islam, code of hijab, everything fine, and then you come with your explanation or integration along this dimension that you've shared with us, that Muslims or Islam does not permit this. And then, on the other hand, you have some...
You are explaining why you are not doing it.
Exactly. No, I'm looking at the inhibitions to the person accepting that. Because it will be very easy for them to get you numerous examples within your setting. And that will be that even if you do not do it, there will be some other multiple Muslim design options.
Of course. We'll be ready.
We'll be ready. Yes. So how do we remedy that?
Marginal Muslim. No, that's not your problem. No. Your own problem, you have solved it. That's not your problem. That one is another one entirely. Another issue entirely, which may require general sensitization. But at your level, the particular case brought to you, you have resolved it. Yes, others may be ready to do it. That will require a different solution. Understood? Aha. Now, let me take one more, and then I will want to show you one or two documents here. You have not spoken. Yes, speak.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Please, I want to add to what she said.
You want to, this designer
no,
thing.
there is a scenario that once happened.
All of you are showing interest in fashion. Yes?
No, it's not about fashion.
It's not about fashion.
It's a scenario that happened at our workplace.
Okay, scenario, yes.
Pharmacy.
Bring it up.
Yeah. So the pharmacist is a Muslim.
Use your mic.
The pharmacist over there is a Muslim. And we have this woman, she gave birth, the boy was 1.5 years old, and she got pregnant again. So she came there crying that her husband wanted her not to get pregnant. So she wants pills to terminate the pregnancy. So we convinced her to keep it, but still she wanted to terminate it. So the pharmacist, who was a Muslim, quoted a verse from the Quran that we shouldn't kill our children because of hunger. He is the one who feeds all of us. So at the end of the day, she thanked the pharmacist and all of us for advising her to keep the pregnancy. So she kept the pregnancy. So I think it's also a way of integrating moral values. Yeah.
Of course, it's the same thing we have said that you are bringing up in another way. That, yes, it's an opportunity to educate. But that education, you must do it with wisdom, in a way that is not counterproductive, in a way that you are not telling that person that he or she is bad. You are, first of all, accepting that person the way he or she is. That's the first thing. You know you are not going to do it. But first of all, receive that person as your own brother or your sister. So that builds confidence in that person that, oh, whatever I'm going to hear from this person is out of love, is because he wants success for me. That's why he's saying it. Now, I want to, the thing is off again, that integrative approaches in the Quran. Because the question we are considering is, how do I integrate? How do I integrate in a way that the integration will be effective? In a way that the integration will not be counterproductive? In a way that the integration will not be offensive? In a way that the integration will not become a distraction? In a way that the focus of the integration will be sharp? Now, in the Quran, Allah has given us different approaches that we can use. You know, Allah speaks throughout the Quran. And the Quran is full of messages. In fact, the Quran said nothing has been omitted. Now, what you now find interesting is that Allah, as the speaker, puts himself in the middle of the message. He puts his name there. He mentions himself. You know, it's unusual. As I speak to you, how many times have I mentioned my own name? Today, eh? And even yourself. Except when you are introducing yourself. You say, I'm so person. But in the case of Allah, He is the speaker. He mentions several of His names in the message. But if you read the Quran properly, He does that sometimes. Sometimes He doesn't do it. And when we say He doesn't do it, it means that He doesn't do it categorically. There is no message of the Quran that Allah is not present there. Throughout the length and breadth of the Quran, Allah's presence is there. You can feel His presence in virtually every verse, every surah of the Quran. So, how has Allah done it? Yes. Okay, he's back now. Now, you are going to have this material so that you can read it at your leisure. Now, let us take some examples in the Quran. Because the mention or integration of Allah in the Quran takes two main dimensions. The one I call the explicit dimension and the implicit dimension. For instance, if you have a Muslim audience, you can use the explicit dimension. You can mention Allah there, you can mention the Prophet, you can mention the Quran there. But when you are dealing with an audience that mentioning Islamic values categorically will be counterproductive, then you can use the implicit dimension, both of them in the Quran. Explicit approach. Even within that explicit, you have high explicitness and you have low explicitness. It's not just one simple approach. For instance, in Surah Al-Mujadila, Allah mentions His name in every verse. Sometimes twice, sometimes 3 times. So that one is high explicitity. But when you come to, okay, there is an assignment there. When you get there, you do the assignment. In course exercise 1. When you get there, you will do the assignment. Low explicitness. Quran chapter 96 verses 1 to 5. In those 5 verses, Allah is mentioned. Look at it. Look at it. Look at it. Read in the name of your Lord who created. You see, mention of God in that message. He uses the word Rabbuka, your Lord. Your Lord. Explicitly mentioned. But in this next verse, he uses a pronoun. Didn't mention. He created, He, Allah, created man from a clot of blood. And then again, interchanging with the mention of His name, Rabbuka, you can see the way the interchange between the use of noun and pronoun. Noun, pronoun, noun, pronoun. That's the approach. So this is still explicit. But it's another a type of explicitity. Now, let us go to Surah Al-Fatiha. Surah Al-Fatiha. Go on. We are still going. Surah Al-Fatiha. Because all of us know Surah Al-Fatiha. I didn't bother to put it there. But There is something interesting about Surah Al-Fatiha. There is also interchange between the use of name and the use of noun and pronoun. You know, in the first 5 verses revealed, you have noun, pronoun, interchange. But in Surah Al-Fatiha, it is not exactly the same. It is noun, pronoun. So I want you to bring out the noun, and then the pronoun in Surah Al-Fatiha, because it's very, very familiar. The mention of Allah in Surah Al-Fatiha. Noun, pronoun. You are always talking. I like the way. Where are those books that I gave you for viewing? The books for viewing. The books for viewing. There is a second one. A third one. A third one. For viewing. You want to view it. You have collected something before. I have to give you again, no? Because Wasabikun, and I think I have to give you. I hope my judgment is right, because of the frequency of the contribution. But I still have more, don't worry. If you are, I still have more. So, who is speaking now? No. You have, yes, I ask a question. You have not explained. Oh, before giving you the gift. Oh, yeah, explain now. Allah, yes. Now, again. Now, again. So it's now. Okay. Now, pronoun. Let us now give that to a lady. You want to come up?
Thank
yes?
you. The next one is you alone we worship and you alone we ask for help.
You, pronoun.
Pronoun.
You. Remaining one, at least.
Guide us to the straight. Hey, I'm coming.
Yes, to the straight path.
Guide us to the straight path, the path of those who incurred your mercy, not the path of those who incurred your anger. The path of those you have bestowed your mercy, not the path of those who...
Is that you?
Yes.
You have collected something. You is there. And amta. The path of those you. So, what we find in Al-Fatiha is noun, pronoun. As against noun, pronoun in Surah Al-Alaq. Now, the second type is the implicit. And maybe just one example is okay for us. Implicit approach of the Quran in reflecting himself in go on. Leave this one. I leave you to go and read this. Go on. Deeply implicit. So there is low implicit. But this one is deeply, very implicit. In the whole of this surah, is Allah mentioned either through a noun or pronoun? It's not mentioned. Good. Is Allah in that surah? are silent here. You are silent. Is Allah in the surah? Allah is there. Okay, where is Allah there? Bring it out. Bring it out. Bring it out. Somebody who has not spoken since morning is ready to speak. Yes.
Allah is the only one who can make somebody perish. So Allah is there.
Oh my God. Where is that? The one you are viewing. Give it to him. Give it to him. You have not viewed. So, Allah is there. Allah is the one speaking. Allah is the one to endorse the punishment, to pass the judgment, and say, now, yes, go and effect the judgment. So Allah is there, but very implicit. So what it means is that in the integrative processes, we can decide to use any of these. Your reflection of Tawheed, your reflection of Islamic values, your reflection of Allah in any material, in whatever you do, depending on the circumstances, you can use any of these because Allah is in all of them. But the degree of the visibility of Allah to the recipient is what differs. So you can be strategic. So, in conclusion, we are saying that this integration we are talking about, the Quran is the best source of information about it. Whether we are talking about what it means or how the methodology of carrying it out is in the Quran. You don't need to beat about the bush. So everything is in the Quran. Now, let's go to that English passage. We are getting to the time for Zuhr and lunch. I have a passage on a visit to a restaurant. Yes. There is a Word document titled At the Restaurant. No, it's Word. It's not PowerPoint. No PowerPoint today. No PowerPoint. That PowerPoint becomes at the restaurant. Since hunger is knocking on the door, let us visit the restaurant. Let us visit the restaurant. Now, we are coming to our sister who has been teaching reading skills. This is reading. It's about reading. And the aim is to teach some new words. You can see the new words in that box. Now, there are about 4 paragraphs here. I want 2 volunteers, or 4. One person reads 1 paragraph. Let's use your friend. She has not spoken. Ishaq, Amina, yes. The first paragraph. So the person in charge will project the main box properly. Is the person? Yes, take it up so that there are 4 paragraphs. You are going to read from Peace Be Unto You. Peace be upon you all. That's the first paragraph.
Okay. Peace be upon you all. There are many restaurants in Accra, but my favorite restaurant is Rahma Halal Kitchen at Bachona Highway. I love it very much because of the quality of its foods, good service, and most especially for its cleanliness.
Second volunteer from this side. I don't know, you have not spoken as much as you have. Yes, speak.
I usually have lunch at this restaurant because as at the time of lunch, I will still be at the office. So the only option left for me is to go to the restaurant, even though I prefer eating at home.
Volunteer from there. You have not spoken. I want those who have not spoken to now speak. Yes.
I often go for lunch with my colleagues. Mere looking at the menu, you wouldn't know what to choose. There are assorted local foods like wache, tuwo zafi, or banku. There are
Is it making you to salivate?
There are intercontinental
dishes well.
and a variety of drinks and juices too. Your only problem will be making a choice.
I see. Okay, one paragraph and a half. You have spoken. Only introduction. Okay, let's make it 2 paragraphs. You and the allergy in cap.
I always wash my hands and pray before eating by saying, in the name of Allah. Sometimes, when I take some meat, I use the toothpick. On each table, there are tissues, papers, salt, pepper, cups, and drinking water.
Yes?
After the meal, we always say, thanks to Allah who fed us, gave us drink, and made us to be among the believers. And we wash our hands.
Okay. Question 1. What features of the passage make it integrated? This passage, is it integrated? Yes. What are those things that make it integrated? Dr. Ali, you are welcome from Nigeria, Hamatan School. What features make it integrated? Where are those who are yet to speak? Yes? Alaji.
The mention of Allah in all the paragraphs.
Allah is in all the paragraphs.
Yeah.
Well, Allah is mentioned severally. Allah is mentioned severally. Yes, that is one. You have not spoken. Saying Bismillah before you eat is another feature. You have not spoken. Any other feature?
The name of the restaurant, Rahma Halal Foods.
Rahma. Is there really a restaurant called Rahma? What of that street, that highway? It's in Accra? Yes. Okay.
So the halal mentioned over there.
Mentioned, that's number 3. Yes, you have not spoken. Hawa?
The passage started by giving greetings to the...
Greetings. Yes, in the Islamic way. Number 4, yes. Number 5, always there.
To add to what Hawa said, it didn't come with Salamu Alaikum like we all know. Peace be unto you all. Using it could be on English all version. Directions.
Next.
The washing of hands before eating is a
washing
sunnah.
of hands before eating. You are now silent. Yes, you have not spoken. Dauda, Amina.
The use of toothpick in it after eating.
Okay. Islam encourages cleanliness and making your... The last one from here, I will give you another book. I will give you another book. Okay. Oh yeah, continue to speak.
Okay. Aside the concept of God, I can also see the concept of nutrition, which is food in it.
Food. Halal food is there. Halal food is there.
Yes.
Then another one You know, this man mentioned two things that is part of Islamic culture of eating. Eating together. He said he went with his colleagues to the restaurant. And he also mentioned eating at home. Now, the second question, I want you to answer that one in writing. Using okay, let me give you question 3. Question 3. That question 3, you can write it down. Answer the question in not more than 150 words using integrative of your. That question 3 is how I spend my spare time. How I spend my spare time. The answer will be integrated and not more than 150 words. You will submit through Hadiza, yes. To be ready before you go to bed. Today. That will be the end of the course for today. It started from yesterday with that assignment, which you completed this morning. And then it's going to end with another assignment, which you will submit after Isha before you go to bed. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
MashaAllah, Jazakallahu khairan, Prof. And I'm sure Prof would like to hear from us questions, comments, contributions, at least for some 10 seconds. 10 minutes, inshallah.
Yeah.
So,
Please let me recognize the arrival and the presence with us of the acting coordinator of the winter schools for this year, Dr. Dahiru Aliyu. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. You are welcome.
Nice to meet you here.
Yeah, alhamdulillah. So,
Enjoying the school. Alhamdulillah. Nice to meet you all. Inshallah, we'll have our session tomorrow. Yeah, just arrived from the airport.
yes, I want you to relax so that you'll be as fresh as possible tomorrow.
Yeah, I just come to say salam.
Okay, that's very good. Thank you very much. Wa alaikum salam wa barakatuh. Yes. Any question, general comments, or whatever?
Thank you very much. Prof, with regards to there is an occupation, let me say, a work or a profession in Ghana here, which I do find it very difficult to put myself into, which it is communication and then the police service. In this profession, especially in an era where corruption is this thing of the day, how do you practice morality as a police officer? How do you practice morality in this profession?
The same answer we gave to, anyway, there are even 2 cases. Khadija, it's for you. For Aisha.
Okay, Prof.
We've answered your question, no?
Okay.
Haven't we answered the question? We did. So you want me to say that you can take bribe? We've answered your question, no? Allah is very clear. about its rules, about the boundaries. You must not go beyond those boundaries, except there's no other way. That's the answer to your question. Yes. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi
Okay,
wa barakatuh.
so thank you very much,
Yes.
Prof.
Salama.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, so as the lecture was going on, I was actually thinking about a lot of things in my head pertaining the kind of field I'm coming from. That's accounting field. Okay, so we normally
Designer, do you have?
no, please.
Please give her.
We normally provide accounting services to our customers. So what we do sometimes is we try to run down zeros in favor of our clients.
Right? You try to?
Like, so we try to run down zeros in one way or the other in favor of our clients. So I was asking myself, how will I integrate Islam into this action? As in being fair, being just. So that's the question I keep on asking myself. So I was like, a lot of thoughts came into my mind. I was like, no, let me just ask the question and be clear about it.
You see, I've not understood what you said you do. 00, what do you?
Sometimes we try to favor our clients with governments.
Salam alaikum.
Okay, you try to.
Let me help you.
You try to assist them so that they don't pay high taxes.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
It's the same. It's the same answer.
Hey, okay.
It's the same answer.
So what if that's my source of?
What is bad is bad. You should not do it. You should not move near it. But if there are overbearing circumstances that you cannot help, if you can help, don't do it. If you cannot help, and there's no other option, and you must survive,
Prof, please, as a teacher in a mission school, let's say a Catholic school, and teaching reading,
the book for viewing is still
as
going
the
on.
passage you shown us about the halal foods, the saying of Bismillah in it, and if there is only one Muslim student in the class, how will you be, like, how are you going to communicate the aspect of Islam to the Muslim students?
Halal food for what?
The passage. The
This
Rahma.
passage?
Yes.
No. It's clear. We have shown you different integrated approaches in the Quran. You may not mention anything that will show that this is Islamic from the beginning to the end. Yet it is Islamic.
Okay.
Are you getting it?
Yes.
So what is convenient for you that you can include, and the message will be effectively delivered? That's what we use. At another time, you may include those things you didn't include initially, depending on the circumstances. If you say that before a meal, you wash your hands, who is going to query you? And after the meal, you also wash your hands. If the person is curious enough, you come and ask you, why are you talking about this hand washing? Especially in the era you use cutlery. You visit a restaurant, the cutlery is there, you pick and use. Why are you talking about hand washing? Is it not archaic, old school? can explain. Oh, in my religion, we even prefer to use your bare hands to eat. And even when you use cutleries, certain circumstances, the type of food will dictate whether you will need hand in addition to the cutlery. And because my religion emphasizes cleanliness, hygiene, personal hygiene a lot, uncompromising about it. So you have to work. The last Qatar World Cup, I learned the visitors appreciated the Islamic ethics on hygiene. That when they enter the toilets, they discover that they are given the option of using water to wash. And they ask questions. Why is it so? You know, we are used to using tissue paper and so on. And when it was explained to me, they said, that this is better than the use of paper. They appreciated it. Alaji, we are going to end with you.
Thank you, Prof. A few days ago, one of the organizers, local LOC guys, told us that integration lectures will be the real changer. But alhamdulillah, anytime I'm involved in such a thing, this is how I view it. How do we move from deliberations to actions? In all this that we have learned, I think that it must start from home. In the tarbiyah of our children, let's see a lot of integration. Children from that young age, how you dress them should be Islamic or integrated. If they start learning how to speak, let them get the words, Alhamdulillah, Bismillah, let them get it. So if we integrate this, wherever they go, they are fortified and nobody can change them. Number two, I briefly looked at the book written, just translated from Arabic to English. I want to suggest that such stories can also be dramatized. Those of us who are into media can help dramatize it or make a series of it, especially in Ramadan where we have a lot of time. In my case, I have a program called Ramadan Series. In Ramadan, all the 30 days, we have morning and evening program. So if you can train, for instance, a young person, and then always, every day, give him 10 minutes to look at an aspect of the book, he will speak directly to young people or families, and there will be integration there. So that's what I also want to suggest. Thank you very much.
Approved. Your suggestion is approved. Moderator?
MashaAllah, Jazakallah khairan, Sheikh. Alhamdulillah, we've come to the end of yet another wonderful session. At this point, would have to, it said, whoever doesn't thank people does not thank Allah. So we take our vote of thanks from Sister Bilqis to Prof, inshallah. So from Sister Gufran, rather, sorry, not Sister Bilqis.
Thank you. First and foremost, we give all praises and thanks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for making today's symposium a success. Then again, to our affable facilitator for today, In fact, it has been an engaging, interactive, and educative session. We really appreciate your efforts. In fact, words will really fail us when we have to express our gratitude. But all we say is Jazakallah khairan. May Allah take you back home to meet the family in peace, tranquility, and love. Then again, to our industrious LOCs, it has been hard work since day one. We really appreciate it, and may Allah bless you all. To be the audience, we really appreciate your cooperation, patience, and engagement. Thank you so much all. Thank you so much. May Allah bless us all. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa
alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh.
I hear there's someone called LOC here. I thought she was the one. All right, so salam alaikum, everybody. Oh, the salam is not sounding as powerful as our lecturer.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh.
Okay, so we want to thank you all so much for taking the time to be here. And we also want to thank Professor Akin so much for all that he shared with us. It's my first time here, so I'll just do the mini introduction. My name is Khadija Abdul Samad. I'm a member of the LOC.
MashaAllah.
So yes, that's me. Yes. So as usual, we would do our mini presentation to thank you officially for traveling all the way to come and then present to us. And then we pray that all that you have shared with us, the next year we see you again, and the knowledge has increased, and the health has also increased. You say, Ami. You don't want to see him next year. So, mashallah. So, on behalf of the chair of the LOC and the head, we present this to you.
MashaAllah.
Mr. Photographer, please, hold on. My sister, as for the certificate, alhamdulillah, we have seen it. But we have to open the... Yeah, maybe it was, you know, we have Naba Kanakarbi, and then, wait, let me finish. I'm clearing something here. We have Ambia Naklan Ba Ajalan Ba. They used to do like this. So we want to see it like as we started, that's how it goes. Yawa.
Okay. So have a look at this.
Shaida. An shaida. To shi kenan.
Okay, so
you do the
yes,
announcements for the groupings, yes?
Inshallah. So before we have our regular group picture, kindly take note of what we are going to use, the topics we are going to do for our recaps. So for Team Othman, from the slides, we ask...
Please, can we give her attention, please? We want to move out.
For Team Othman, you'll be taking meaning of the word integration to Muslim viewpoints. The slides will be shared. Meaning of the word integration and to Muslim viewpoints. Then Team Ali, history of integration of knowledge to what you can begin to do. And that's the end of the slides. So when we take the Word document, Team Abu Bakr, is going to take overview of integrative approach and the explicit approach. Team Abubakar, overview of integrative approach, then explicit approach. Then Team Umar, yeah, also taking the overview of integrative approach, then the implicit approach. I hope this is clear.
Mashallah.
Okay, mashallah.
Yawa.
Yeah, okay. So Prof has reminded us of another slide that's there. So what would happen is that for the Word document, which group takes that again?
Bakar and Omar.
No, we'll give one group that Word document.
So Abu Bakr is taking the Word document, inshallah.
And then the last group, the slides would be shared with you. It would be integration of knowledge in practice. And that would be group Omar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that all?
Now, that is all, but please, the evaluation forms, kindly fill it. Else, we are not going to the AstroTurf. Yes. So, inshallah.
Okay, so a very last announcement, please, before we go for our picture. We're supposed to be going to the Menshia Palace for a visit at 3. So other activities will be communicated to you as we move along. But we'll be going at 3, so let's be mindful of our time. Yep, so up for our group picture, as usual. Hey, picture base.
Picture the castle. Picture the castle. Mr. Baka moderate. Mr. Baka moderate. Hey. Shall I kill us? What you? Oh, Baba Jamal. I'm a picture.